Oh boy. Oh boy, we're right back into it. Alright. New game. Ha. I'm a lunatic.
So, it's all about trickery to you? Wherever have you come from?
No. I detest trickery. But if we ourselves are to suffer deception, our hands are no longer tied. Where are we?
Well, the muscular contraction is there. Means we're already inside of him. This must be one of the ventricles, right here.
What a silly place. It's stuffed. So it's not real for now? I don't think it has started yet.
Does it matter what it's made of? It's definitely struggling. We need to perform sectio transversalis. Cut the wall. There's no other way out. What else is there to do?
I know what to do. Those who favor hard logic and direct action are bound to be misguided. Only a miracle can set us free without us having to destroy something. And I can do miracles. Just let me.
Will you please be quiet? You're a liar and a thief. Who is going to believe you when you keep lying to yourself? The truth is my shepherd. Whatever happens, I will find answers, and justice will be restored. I will perform the operation. Medica morbo adhibe.
Don't you go all bossy on me, clever clogs. You will act justly, but your justice will blind you and become his demise. This calls for the gentle hand of a surgeon. Step aside, both of you.
Your gentle hands are used to killing, not giving life. You will inevitably do harm. As for Brainy, he has no regard for casualties at all. Neither of you knows compassion.
Yes, it seems unlikely that we'll get along well, but there's only one truth.
Any choice is right as long as it's willed. That's the truth of the matter.
Only the heart will show you the right choice. Stop thinking about yourselves. Think of the sick. He's in pain. I can't see it yet, but I can feel it.
It's not even a trap. It's a grave. Subipsum funis sumus. Can't say I hold a soft spot for it.
I can see that. You're full of hate. Stuffed or not, it's breathing. I can hear it. It can be healed rather than killed.
You mean you won't become a killer? But you will. Mark my word, that's exactly what will happen. But I can avoid it.
No, we won't ever get along. I suggest we be on our way. The sooner the better.
Off we go then?
Let's go. The clock is ticking.
Oh, that's trippy how they freeze. Yeah, so right from the very beginning, they're talking about the whole scenario not being real, saying it's stuffed, it's not real, but I can hear it breathing. Talking about all these strange, vague terms. Huh. Interesting. I ordered a copy of the tabletop game, so it'll be interesting to play that little preview for the other players to introduce the characters, because in the tabletop game you play as those three characters. It's a 4-player game where 3 of you play those 3 characters and 1 of you plays the plague itself. That's bound to be interesting. So we've already beaten as the Bachelor, Haruspex. How do they call upon the Menku, the faithful of a warden kin, known by their hands, for they are butchers, known by their eyes, for they are surgeons, they who follow the lines, they who are the leaders of the kin, they who speak to Udurgs, they who know the secret art of haruspicy. But what is a Haruspex? Reading the future in the entrails, he knows that a body bears semblance to the universe. His scalpel follows the lines of the body, his steps follow the lines of the kin's fortune. A Haruspex can tell a true line from a false one is entrusted with power. A Haruspex who is confused by his path gets buried into the deep black flesh of the earth. This is the story of a person who has avoided the contradiction, eager to rip the doomed life apart, masterfully fulfilling his true purpose in the process.
Artemy Burakh is coming back to his hometown after an absence of 10 years. Born to a family endowed with a caste right to cut living beings open, he was preparing himself for this line of work since childhood. Artemy's father, Isidore Burakh, a wise man and philosopher well respected by the locals, had admitted to the limits of traditional knowledge and sent his son off to study modern medicine in the academy. Artemy has been traveling from town to town, learning theoretical and practical surgery for several years now. Suddenly, a mysterious letter appears with his father giving him notice of his impending demise and begging Artemy to return and accept succession. Unwilling to wait for a regular freight train, Artemy follows the rails through the steppe until he's caught up with by a small shunt locomotive. This is how young Haruspex arrives in the town.
Why, the intro? That one guy's face will always be incredible. Ah. More loading. Oh, we're not in a good shape at all. They have so few character models, but they knew they had to not repeat the same character model in the actual cutscene, so they used almost every male character model in the game that's not an actual character. I think the only, obviously no children, but like the only male character not included practically that out of the villagers was like the nobleman guy that's from the Canes district. From this point forward, I am the eldest member of the Burakh family, a Menku. I am the heir to my father, Isidore Burakh, a warden of the kin, the supreme Menku of many years. The inheritance of my father will nourish my mind and my body alike. It is a question of life and death for me to claim it, for it will imbue my dissolute existence with reason. I am one of the Menku, those who know the rules, those who open up the body, those who link the earthly to the under-earth. The duty of the Menku is to serve the children of Bodo, to interpret coincidence, to point out decisions informed by wisdom. The very reason of my existence is to carry out this duty. Who will I become if I fail to bind my destiny with my father's callings? Only one way to find out. Am I gonna get tutorial people? Ah, yes I am. Day 1 in which the Haruspex turns from the rightful heir into a dangerous criminal. Yeah, no joke, right? Let's get familiar with new face here instead of the one we looked at for the last very many hours. Like 30 plus hours, I think? So our reputation is next to 0, so we're gonna find out the hard way what that means, because I've never gotten it that far and survived, really. I kind of knew better. Exhaustion and hunger and immunity. So we have normal immunity, health is low, exhaustion and hunger are halfway to bad, infection 0. 641 on day 1. And we have our birds here. We're starting off like right next to Murky, I think. So, Burakh, you're almost dead. Got a few more minutes left to live. I'm here to solemnly announce that. Not much can be done on such short notice. You've been hit on the head several times, and the locals have heavy fists. Not sure you've noticed already, but you've got 4 stab wounds, some of them seemingly rather grievous. Massive blood loss too, and the local climate doesn't allow for too much strain. Any heart conditions? Aren't you a funny guy? Well, your health is in a sorry state. Am I wrong to suspect you haven't eaten for a couple of days and had no sleep last night? Your expression betrays you. Your hunger and exhaustion are also critical. I wonder which of these unfortunate afflictions will become the end of you first. So, what's your plan? What would you recommend? You need a first aid kit to restore your health, or at least some bandages and tourniquets. They'd stop the bleeding. Painkillers would help you make it even further. Where do I get them? You can mug the passerby, or barter with them. Children will gladly trade most valuable things in exchange for what others consider junk. Moreover, our drunkards usually have bandages on them. When you're a drunk, it makes sense to always be prepared for a fight. When they're hungover, however, they'd sell their own sister for a bottle of water. Water is scarce here. Wow, we actually have a detailed explanation, as silly and, you know, sure, whatever, as it is. We do get an explanation of the strangeness of the drunks that give you bandages. Where do I get water? There's often some left in the water barrels, enough to fill an empty bottle if you have one. But the drunks are too bad at getting that stuff. Okay, go on. You're also hungry, aren't you? Very hungry. You don't have to mug people to sate your hunger. Food can be found in shops, although your reputation would preclude you from enjoying their hospitality. On the other hand, a whole warehouse of meat was robbed yesterday, when it was unlocked for shipping procedures. How do I find it? It's still unlocked and unguarded. You won't miss it. The warehouses are within a stone's throw from here. They also serve as a lovely shelter for the odds with the law crowd. Typo. At odds with the law crowd. You've got that in common, so they'll most likely welcome you. Will you make it to the warehouses? To be honest, I'm dreadfully tired. If any of the noble townspeople trust you enough, you can always sleep at their place. Just remember that you're an outlaw for now. The only person who believes you is Vlad Urgimsky. I'll show you where he lives. You can get some sleep at his mansion. Don't forget to apply bandages before that, unless dying in your sleep is the career opportunity of your choice, it is. I'm an outlaw? Be careful. Dodge strangers. They're afraid of you now and will attack you in a heartbeat. Don't trust anyone. Speak to my fellow executor. He wanted to have a word with you too. Okay. Oh, that Vlad Ogimsky, huh? This is the Lump, the Ogimsky's manor. It's the home of Big Vlad, who my father talked about in his letter. At least, it was 10 years ago. Oh boy, am I actually bleeding though? Is bleeding even an effect in this game? Welcome to your hometown, Warden. It's been a long time since you've been here. You probably don't even remember the spicy odor of twire in the air. Yeah. Do you know why you were attacked? No. You've been mistaken for another person. They're looking for a murderer. A very important and well-respected man was killed last night. The townsfolk loved the deceased more fervently than some children love their fathers. Don't be too hard on them for their outburst. I'll have to mix with them somehow, though. They are naive. In towns like this, reputation is everything. Books are judged by their covers here, even after the last page is turned. No one is going to examine you in detail. A minor rumor here, a gossip there, and you're a public enemy already. You've got zero reputation. The only option available to you is living with the consequences of this. What should I do? Restore your reputation. Do that now, and at any other time it becomes too low. People are foolish and weak. One day you're beaten to a pulp and laughed at, the next you're worshipped. As for the third day, well, I think you caught my drift. What I'm saying is any misdeed can be atoned for, and you'll be loved just as fervently as you were hated. How do I restore my reputation? Do good deeds. The town is small, rumors spread like fire, growing 100-fold in the process. And they're spread by children, too. So your reputation will be restored. Just don't be wasteful with it. It's fragile. What makes it low? The decrease of your reputation depends first and foremost on the number of living beings you've made less than living. It also depends on how you influence the people whose fates are bound to yours. You'll meet those special people. They're called the Bound sometimes. A silly custom, but a useful one. Special people. 30 or so, each of them possessing their own unique traits. All of them hate one another. All of them are habitual liars. All of them desire to live. Yet some of them are incompatible. Someone has to die so that another may live. And you know what that means. How will I recognize those people? That's not hard. They're striking personalities. Locally famous, even though not all of them are of noble descent. Beggars, outcasts, little children even. Bound to be a bit closer to perfection than the common crowd. I see. Thanks for the advice. Alright. They tutorialized a lot of mechanics there that I don't think the other game did. Hey look, it's the people that I don't want to deal with. No! What's going to even happen? I accidentally pressed quick load instead of quick save. God damn it, BioShock. Oh my god. Daniel, no. Oh no, I have to redo all of this. Alright, see you guys in a bit. And we're back. It wasn't that big of a deal actually, because you don't have to wait for that conversation to play. You can just go pick your character immediately, then press escape to skip every conversation, and so on. Yeah, BioShock Remastered, and maybe the original BioShock, they made the choice of making fucking F8 your save button, which is the load button on every other game ever, basically. It tends to be F5 for saving and F8 for loading. They said the warehouses and the ne'er-do-wells and whatnot, that's supposed to be where there's a shipment of food. Just stay away from those guys. So yeah, I reflexively pressed it out of habit from BioShock, which I recently beat. And that, cost me a little time. Oh well. It's interesting to start this far south, just because this is a whole chunk of map that the Bachelor doesn't have much reason to see until around the time Evian goes missing, and you start dealing with, like, saving people from the indigenous people. How's our inventory looking? Oh my god, we don't even have a weapon. We have gloves. Cool. I have a tourniquet. Click. That's some starting stuff. Otherwise, we have alpha tablets. We have morphine. We can sleep. We have one bottle of water. 30 lamp stuff. Cool. Lamp stuff. Hey, little girl. Are you scared? We know all about you. What's up? The soul and a halves got an opportunity to catch their breath. This is good. Now everyone will have time to prepare. Otherwise we'd have to mourn our boys and the halves would be orphaned. What halves? What in the world are you talking about? It's just a catchy name. Notkin says it's because each of them has a familiar. A cat, a dog, a crow, or a grass snake. Half a soul more than normal person. Or a normal animal. Oh, I've had this conversation before. So they have the same. It looks like they have the same conversations with every character. But I might have new context for these conversations now. Is that a game? It's a lifestyle that's larger than life. If you join the soul and a halves, you have to adopt a pet. As you raise it, you change. Then, when it's grown, it gets the other way around. Your half begins to take care of you, and you are always together, bound forever. What if the animal dies? I don't know. No half has ever died before. What kind of soul and a half are you if your familiar can die? They wouldn't take you in the first place. Animal lifespan isn't that long. Oh, and that's the end of that conversation. I think that happened last time too. Yeah, they're all like, "What kind of your familiar dies? What are you, a jackass?" I'm like, "What? But they're animals. They all have shorter lifespans than humans. Like basically all of them, except for like a turtle maybe." But they're children, so they've all been, and they've always been children, so they haven't been around long. So that doesn't enter the equation. The idea of animal mortality. Also, we now know that this is all a weird fucking fantasy. So who fucking knows, man? Maybe that magic does exist. Fancy book you got there. With your facial expressions.
Murder, they say. Damn, no one can kill Simon Kine. No way.
That was a line. Notkin. Have I read this before? I don't know. Capella's take on him. Notkin used to be Khan's best friend. I don't know what their quarrel was about, but most likely it was about Notkin not wanting to dance to his whistle. For what it's worth, they also say that he was banished from the polyhedron by the Mother Superior before she returned to the orphan termitary. Yeah, going over these descriptions again this late might be helpful, because it, now I know who more of these goddamn people even are. So Khan is the guy that runs the polyhedron. Notkin seemingly was banished, maybe by the Mother Superior themselves, and no longer gets along with Khan. Mother Superior is in the termitary. She didn't come up much. I imagine she's going to come up a lot more in Burakh's story, given that he hangs out there. She seems like an important character, and we talked to her like twice, and half the times I tried talking to her, it was like a false alarm. Like I went on a whole trip to go there, and then I was wrong about my whole goal. Khan's take. After Mother left, we invited him back, but he, in his pride, refused. Instead, he chose to dig a lair by the warehouses and play the soul and a halves, a dangerous game, seeing how grief isn't afraid of father in the slightest. Notkin took a risk, but that drew other misfits to him, and that's how they started their slummy society. Khan's not a big fan of young Michael Jones over here. A new face in our small society. A fighter? A doctor. A doctor? Gee, we've got a doctor already. Quite unexpectedly, too. You haven't got one like me.
In trouble, to be troubled is to have your trouble doubled.
Okay. You're not one of Grief's men, are you? Who's this Grief? Bad Grief is the kingpin of the criminal world. He has a lair in the northern warehouses where he trades in weapons, trireme, and other nastiness. Every murderer and criminal has a connection to him one way or another. That's the way it goes here, and that's why I'm asking you again. Were you on your way to him or not? Do I look like a criminal to you? Some people came running through the warehouses a few minutes ago. They told everyone that a horrible killer, the whole town's apparently already out to get him, had tried to escape by train, got ambushed, killed everyone, and was now going back here. So now I'm thinking, were they perhaps talking about you? It's a misunderstanding. I came from far away and got attacked. Okay then, you do look like you've been through a lot. We'd like to help you, but we've been robbed too. And as bad luck would have it, it's the medicine that's been snatched. Lika, that bastard. He's a traitor, a thief, a thug, and a prick. Who are you talking about? Lika. The name fits. The prick's a natural-born bootlicker. I can't even figure out who he's sold out to. The thieves or the dogheads. He's stolen the most precious thing from us. From his mates, the bastard. And on top of that, he's done it right when a war is about to start. A war? A war with the dogheads. A stinking bastard, that heartless, soulless little rat, stole the most precious thing we owned, murdered a friend, and ran over to the enemy's side. We used to think he was one of us. Was he pretending all along? He deserves to die. To be killed. What precious thing? A very important medicine. A schmauder. They're very rare since they're handmade. The recipe's unknown. There are different ones. Some will cure you. Others will kill you. We had the last one to use as a sample, to learn to tell which ones help by their taste. They all look the same. What does it cure? There used to be a horrible disease here. Came from nowhere. Disappeared later. It gives me the creeps when I remember it. It was horrible. Spreading like wildfire. It's a miracle we stopped it. Well, we kept the schmauder afterwards because we remembered what it was like. And he stole it, leaving us to die, the stinking prick. So where's this guy now? He's probably with his thieving buddies. At first he hid in the steppe, and then he just vanished. Probably took a roundabout to evade us. We lost him near the barrow. Then we had to run away because the thieves appeared all of a sudden. If you find this bastard, do cut him to pieces, please. We're hid in the steppe. Lost him near the barrow. Shit. Not sure what that means. You mean kill him? Yes? The bastard doesn't deserve to live anymore. I'll give you my revolver as a gift then. One thing though. If he's with a dog, don't touch it. One must never hurt dogs. I agree. They were weirdly non-existent except for the sound though, like before. And all the ones that attacked me. Whoops. Alright. I'll have a chat with him if I find him. Right over there. Nearby. And just like that, we spent more time talking to Notkin than we did the entire last game. Damn. This is going to be different, isn't it? Do a little save. Alright, this is immediately going to be very different. Where's the... They said that there was meat. A meat shipment stolen. Seemed to indicate it might be near the warehouses. Maybe I'm supposed to talk to... Maybe I'm supposed to talk to Grief? Maybe he's the one who stole it? Because he runs things around here. To some extent. God damn it. Go this way? There we go. I was turned around. I wasn't even facing the direction I thought I was within the warehouses. That said, I actually don't need that much food right now. No. I do basically need food today still, just not necessarily right now. Interesting. We get a whole day, guys, without the plague. It's a 12-day game, but only 10 days have plague, and one of the days has it pretty slightly. Let's see. The good news is, at least in day one, there's not a lot of guards around, if I remember correctly, so... While people might attack me on sight, the list of people who even attack people in general are somewhat reduced. But I'm basically going to be like all those women that were being attacked at the beginning of the game last time, aren't I?
The city boy grabbed too much power for his own good. This ain't gonna end well.
Peter Stammen's take on him. What is he? A storekeeper that neither keeps nor stores. He's got a whole community of birds of his feather there. Somehow, they manage the warehouse business past Big Vlad's pocket. They accept twire gatherers and throat cutters as their brethren. Uncharacteristically of the locals, sometimes they put their knives to use. But really, their twiring is something else. Vlad the Younger's take on him. His real name is Gregory Fillan. The thieves call him Big Bad Grief, even though he's merely a nuisance. Grief is the kingpin of the shady world. Name any prohibited item, and rest assured they're selling it. Father has no choice but to tolerate him. Somehow these loafers manage to get a firm hold over the workmen community. If only we had direct communication options with them, there would be no need for these parasitic middlemen. Should I say metalmen? I still remember that dumb pun. Not a lot of new stuff there. But it reinforces stuff. This is a lot of game to commit to memory. You look like a man not to be picked on, don't you? We'll do some rooking and swindling here and there. We will, but let's not be enemies. Thieving's more honorable than killing anyway, if you ask me. You must hold a different opinion though, eh? Who are you? Heh. Ain't they been telling you about good old Bad Grief? The kingpin and the king of thieves, stockman and the stockman in chief, the smuggling master. Well, the robberings are there too. Robberings, stockman in chief and robberings, not tongue destroyers. So that's how it is. Well, that's me. Welcome to our lair. We're up to some smuggling, we are, so everything that's prohibited you can find here in great supply. You be careful though, big man. Buying stuff off us harms you in a way. If anyone finds out, they won't trust you anymore. That doesn't matter in my case.
A part off sent to the well is broken at last.
You. I know who you are. It's not like I have a choice. A line of trade like this, man doesn't have no right to miss out on anything fundamental. Some turmoil that was, eh? Those who got away from you ran past us, you see. Asked me if you were one of our lot. Nope, I said. So they warned me you'd come. They'll warn those who greet 'em the next pit stop, too. The damn mess, they mistook me for someone else. Oh, don't you fuss. You got yourself into the town from the right side. Scum and villains here, villains and scum. Shady folk living by the warehouses since the world began. Us lot, we are used to them murderings, robbings, muggerings, killings, and the likes.